I started turning rocks over to see, you know, what kind of insects and stuff were in it. I didn't even find any insects under the rocks. So certainly, other than the first time I went down there, Barren Fork is a very appropriate name for that river as far as my fishing.
Yeah, I guess my curiosity was more of just trying to see what that bunker looked like after all these years, if it did any good, if it's washed away or whatever the case may be. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Jim, do you go, when you go out, do you always look under rocks?
I don't always, but if I'm not catching any fish and I can't figure out what's going on, I'll start looking under rocks.
Yeah. Does Helgamites work? You ever find a lot of them?
I can't say that I remember finding a lot of Helgamites. You know, usually you find mayfly nymphs and caddis nymphs, and maybe some scuds or whatever. But a lot of times you'll find scuds if there is like a patch of watercress or something like that. You'll find them sitting in the watercress.
Really?
But yeah, it's mostly mayfly and caddis nymphs that I find under rocks.
Okay, so you guys are looking under rocks. And I was up on the vertigreen last Friday, and I spent 4 hours and caught one fish on a red copper john. But there was a little tiny gray fly that was coming off. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It was about a size 18, all gray, with wings that looked like a housefly. And just 2 wings. I thought it might have been a midge or something else, and I couldn't catch one. So I have no idea what it was, but the trout were feeding on it. And of course, I didn't have anything in my box that even looked vaguely like it. So any ideas? Anybody ever seen anything like that?
What color was it?
Gray, he said.
Gray, all gray. There was another hatch of caddis that was coming out, and they were also gray. And I did see one small mayfly water dipping, but that was it. Now, these other flies looked like a cross between a horsefly and a darn mayfly. So got me. I don't know. I'm going to tie some stuff up and see if I can't make it look something like it anyway.
What size were they? Were they like 20s or?
Oh, about a size 18.
Okay.
And you're sure they weren't mayflies, huh?
Yeah, you know, their wings were not up straight. They weren't a spinner. They were kind of in a V, and it just looked like a housefly, a gray housefly, without the big bulbous head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've asked a couple of entomologists here in town, and they're doing the same thing you're doing, Jim. They're shaking their heads. So I've got to go up the next time. I'm going to take a butterfly net with me and see if I can't catch a few of them.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
But I'm going to go up and do the same thing you did. I'm going to do take my insect net with me and kick some rocks and get the gravel kicking up and see what I can't find out. Maybe I can find the nymphal stage of it. And if nothing else, I'll use about a size 18 RS2 the next time I'm up there and see if that does anything. So
there you go. Well, I've just been going out to Bush Wildlife in Brimmelsick Park fishing for bluegill, and I've been catching a bunch lately. They are definitely waking up, catching crappie. So this is the only time of the year I ever catch crappie. I guess they come into the shallows, but caught some really nice crappie and a few bass. I was out Saturday just as the storm was rolling in, and things were slow. And then all of a sudden I started catching real nice sized bluegill. I caught about 4 or 5 of them in a row, and then a large crappie. And then I looked up in the sky, and there was this giant black cloud, and it was heading straight for me. So, I mean, I knew it was going to rain, so I brought my raincoat. So I threw my raincoat on, and I just fished until it got too ridiculous. But oh yeah, the fish were biting. You know, storms rolling in, the fish are biting. I don't know what it is about that, but it was perfect timing.
Yeah, we did.
Always.
I was out yesterday doing, and it was, although we didn't have any storms rolling in, it was really windy, and I was fishing downwind of a weir we've got here, breakwater, on one of our local lakes, Prairie Queen, and I was getting some really nice bluegill. I got one crappie that was small and skinny, surprisingly, and one largemouth bass. So it was a pretty good day for a tenkara fishing. So
Yeah, sounds like it.
Well, I went bluegill fishing. We got a little 7-acre park that I've never fished at. I went yesterday. In fact, Jim, I copied your design and I made me some of those little fluorescent leg, green and orange, black sort of woolly booger kind of thing.
They call it the captain.
The captain?
The captain.
Okay. Well, I tried a few captains and I put one on and took it over there. In about 10 minutes, I caught two bluegill, and the wind was just so bad at trying to cast in the wind. So I went to a little area where I could put the wind to my back and cast it a little further out. And with a roll cast, I could get it out pretty good. And caught a couple more, and then I had enough of the wind, so I left.
Did you ever get a copy of the fly fishing book by the Department of Conservation? We have a bunch, and we've given out quite a few. Did you ever get a copy of that?
No, I don't think
Mark
I did.
Van Patten.
I think I remember you guys talking about that, but I don't have one.
It's green spiral bound. We'll make sure you get one, Carl.
Yeah, that has instructions on how to tie the captain.
That one.
Well, what I tied worked really well. In fact, I was at Tom Hardgrove's last week. I went on my day off. I went down and got a new fly line for my new rod. Craig helped me get it measured up. I had the 5-weight line that I've been using was too light. It was what I was fishing with when I was with you guys. And so I asked Craig, I said, I need some help figuring out what will work good on this. And so I got a Scientific Anglers, it's got a little bit heavier weight forward on it, just the way the rod works. And Craig was casting that thing like it was a gem. So anyway, I'm good. He's a good hand. He helps.
He is.
Yeah, did you spend $100 on your fly line? Because I did that last time I went in to listen to Craig.
Yeah, he was pushing the $99 one, but I got to be a little bit of a cheapskate and got the $79 one and decided the $79 one worked just as well as a $100 one did.
I'm just giving Craig crap, but sorry, I just dropped something. But I'm happy with, I did end up buying a $100 line and I'm happy with it, but you definitely have to care for it. And you definitely, between cleaning it but it's lasted me over 1.5 years now. And for as much as I fish, I'm happy with, that was a good investment. But I always think it's funny because it's kind of like this is a good one, but
yeah, he's got that salesman's pitch on
then you move
there.
over this way with Craig, and and then you walk out and you're like, how did that happen?
Another advantage of using a tenkara rod, because this is what I use on my rod. This is my fly line. Monofilament level, about 12 feet at a time. People. I got enough on that spool right there to last me the next 10 years. Now, I can only cast about 12 feet, so there is a disadvantage to it. But then again, if you only fish on creeks that are 10 feet wide, you're set.
All right, you guys about ready to go over this Copper John?
Let's do it.
Yeah, you're up, Walt.
All right, Copper John. I forgot who the guy that developed it. I think
Copper John.
Yes, his name's John. John Copper.
His name's John. His last name's Copper.
Okay. What I've been using is the 700B hooks. I put on the appropriate bead, and let me change over to my other screen. that okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so basically I put a bead on. They also suggest to put a copper, lead, about 12 wraps behind the bead. Now I've been using copper wire for the simple reason I have an abundance of it. So the next thing that you would want to do is you put on the goose buy-ups. I've been using whites, I guess. And I don't know if you can see that okay. So I'll go ahead and try to put those on. They are a little bit difficult to put on. When they say to put them on, they said to make sure that they're extremely tight. When you take them apart and you put them together so that they're basically even and they're spreading apart. I just dropped the. They say when you put the bias on, you just loosely wrap a couple loops around them, and then you go ahead and you really anchor it down after about the third one. You go up, cut off your excess. You go back up to the copper, and you go ahead and try to build it up.
Walt, I can see why the wire breaks. You're really cranked on that. And you need to put your finger on it so it doesn't break, so you're not, yeah.
Okay, then you go ahead and put your wire on for the body. Now, I found out that if you go ahead and you put it on, and you put it on down towards the base of it, the bottom of the fly, this will help out when you wrap it. So you basically just mummify bring your wire back up. And then you can go ahead and put your wire up on your stand. Then what you're going to do, you're going to bring the wire I found out if you bring the wire under the hook, can you guys see this okay? And bring it up around and rotating your vise and it works great when I do it when nobody's watching. Now with this wrapping wire, the best place I found to get it would be basically Hobby Lobby. It's about $9 for about 8 of these rolls. And there's an assortment of gauges. Once you bring up the wire, then you go ahead and secure it again with your line. And then you can cut it or nope, that isn't working. Just cut the wire. And the next item you want to put on is this clear wrap. You could see it. That and also there is some other material that you want to wrap the body with. I don't know where the hell I put it. Excuse me, I think I put it on the other table. was going to do this over by the bar, but the sunlight was too high. So basically this here black material, it was wrapping material, but it works quite well. Then you want to secure it on the top of the fly, centered. Guys, I put it on it backwards. Next item you want to put on is some peacock. I usually take 2. Cut off the ends because they're the brittle part. Go ahead and start wrapping the roll up around it. Tying those off. I put a half knot on. Now you're going to go ahead and put the legs on. Normally what I use is a duck feather. I guess it's the breast feather of a duck. And the secret of this, you peel it apart. Laying it over the top of and securing it right behind the thoracic material, I guess is what you call it. Bring it up over the top of the legs. Securing it. Putting on the whip finish now. Now you're going to go ahead and I put on the UV glue. Everybody talks about using toothpicks. The base. Forward. Sure you secure your lid on that glue or you're screwed. And what, 30 seconds or so. Amy, I have a question.
Yes.
With your light, your UV light, where did you get yours at?
Amazon, of course. And so mine's a Lumen Shooter is what the name of it is. It's a rechargeable battery, comes with 2 different light fronts. After you're done, I'll show it, but been extremely happy. It's just, it's reasonably priced.
Okay. And there it is.
Ta-da!
Yay.
Looks good.
Nicely done,
Yeah,
Walt.
very nice.
Job, Walt. Oh, excellent night. It's a lot of steps for that one, so it is something where good job getting that in the time frame and showing us everything that's included in it. It's a go-to fly, that's for sure.
I don't know if I included, it's kind of, I don't know how long it takes, but it's,
Hold on, Wyatt.
I was told these are very effective flies.
Extremely effective.
Yep.
That's a Ken House teaching machine fly.
Now,
If anybody sat down with Ken House, that's what he gets you started on.
this does?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Ken House, when we're in classes, that's he always teaches that Copper John. It's just a go-to any part of the country.
Now also on the red, they said that you can use red, obviously copper, and a black for the I guess that's the body down here. For this portion here. And I have been taking it where I put 2 different wires on there, a gold and a red, and you wrap them simultaneously around it so you get a candy cane effect. And that worked pretty good, actually. Any questions? No questions?
No questions.
Then you guys are all dismissed to go have a beer. Thank you.
Walt, I'll tell you this, that's my go-to fly on for most of the trout streams I fish in Nebraska.
Really?
I tied a little smaller though, on a size 18.
This here is a size 12,
Yeah.
but I did it 12 just for the class itself.
Yeah. A size 12 would be bigger than the fish I catch.
Nebraska? Did you say you trout fished in Nebraska?
Oh God, yeah, I was out Friday.
He lives in Nebraska, Walt.
Yeah, and I fished for trout in Nebraska.
I mean, the only trout I saw in northern up there was at Cracker Barrel.
Oh no, we've got several spring-fed creeks up here. The one that's closest to me is about 150 miles away, and it's got a native population of browns and rainbows. And if I really want to take a trip out west to Chadron and to Fort Robb, I can catch brook trout, cutthroat trout, brown trout, and rainbow trout. So,
Okay.
yeah, we got lots of trout fishing in Nebraska, and we're keeping it a secret.
You blew that.
Yeah. All 11 of us know that now.
Yeah, the problem is most of the creeks we fish are only about 3 feet wide, so you got to and really brush choked. So it's a real challenge. When I come back this fall, I'll get a video out to show you what we're fishing in out there.
You put a couple videos up lately, John.
Yeah, I've got one on my YouTube channel. The second one will go up on the 12th of April. And in fact, Charles and I and Tom Kimmett were out at Halleck Park a couple of weeks ago, and I videoed that. And so that's my second video. And I just finished my third one yesterday out at Prairie Queen, and I'm in post process with that one right now. So hopefully that'll be up about the end of April.
Amy, this is the other one. I was talking about a candy stripe.
Yep.
You guys see?
Back it up, take it back a little bit towards your vise more. There you go. Yep, that shows a little bit more on that striping.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Rotate it around.
Very nice.
That looks good.
Yep, those are a great fly to have.
Okay, all right, that's all I have, guys. You can go out and have a beer, please.
And we're not done yet. We still got 20 more minutes. So save it. Well, we've got a couple folks on tonight. And first off, Kat, nice to see you. Glad you don't have to work tonight. Glad you're on tonight. And Chris as well. And if you guys aren't aware of a program that we have going on called Post Fly, it is something where we're actually able to order materials and they're sent monthly to our participants so that they get kits and tools and all kinds of really kind of fun things. They come in packs, and let's see if I can't grab one, but maybe you guys, if you have one handy too. And so these are okay. So these are delivered straight to the houses, and it's something Ken House put together that whole drive-through in June. Yeah, there's Chris's. Okay, so it's anything from, we've got an option, basically we can do a salt, a warm water, and then we can also do a cold water or trout.
Yeah, this is the sea streamer.
Yep. So they get these varieties, 3 basically per month, that are sent to them along with a vise and toolkit if they're new. Kat got that delivered, I think, last month, right as Terry came to the rescue to drop off stuff for her, and she got her delivery that day. So, but it's just kind of cool, just from the standpoint, these come with videos, so you can go on and watch the video, and it's just a different material. They're really, really inexpensive. So for you two who are on here, they don't cost us that, with the little price sticker that's on the outside of them. And you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you know, but anyway, I think they're about $10 per. I think Mick, you get some.
Yep.
And
I've got one on the way.
Yeah,
Did
there's
you really?
more coming.
Yeah, I don't know what's in it, but I got one on the way. I got an email.
So
Yeah,
did
I do too.
Yep. And I'm sorry?
All the materials to tie different flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but it comes with little kits, and so they're put together that you can tie 6 or 12 flies with the material that's included in these little packets. And it's been a great way to stay in touch. And so we have a new gentleman. He's not on tonight. He literally just signed up on Friday. He was referred to us from Jefferson Barracks VAMC, and he did all the registration and everything. I sent him the Zoom link, so we'll probably see him in the next week. And you know, again, we're starting to get that. We're not going to stay on virtual forever, but these little post fly kits are just kind of, and everybody loves people mail. I mean, you love going and opening the mailbox, and you get mail.
I'm old school.
Everybody loves it. It is. And then you open it up, you're like, okay, I don't even know what I'm going to do with this, but it is cool. They've done a great job from Post Fly. It's been a huge just bridge for us during this time off, because again, Ken House put in, I think, he put together so many different kits, and there were 8 flies per kit and all this other stuff. And I think he spent easily a good 30-40 hours putting these together when we did that in June for the drive-through. And this is so much easier, honestly. But it's fun because we just get an order, and because we're buying basically their overstock. And so we don't know what you're actually getting. Everybody's supposed to get the same thing for our program so that we could tie together and do different. So like Kat, you, Chris, Mitch, you guys all have the same thing, but Wichita, Kansas might be getting something different. So again, it's something where they're trying to get it, that you don't have something completely different. You can compare and go, hey, did you get this? And you guys can kind of connect. So it is pretty cool. But I think it is, I'm happy to see that. It's been very successful for us. We were kind of slow to start on that. We didn't start even ordering them until May. And then once we got started, I have a few here. I have not caught up with tying all the flies that are in there. But what I would really say is that with these Zoom calls and our Monday nights too, as you guys are starting to explore these kits and you say, hey, how do you thread this thing? And what do I do with it? This is the time to ask. And this is the time to say, okay, what is this tool for? And what do I do with that? Because some of the times I think even with the fly that Walt tied tonight, we're not necessarily starting at the beginning. So you kind of get this information. You're like, I don't know what he did. That's really cool looking, but I don't know what he's talking about. So we can kind of back up some steps, and you've got some great folks on here that are more than happy to talk tools and, all that stuff too. So I don't want you to feel like you shouldn't be asking questions. This is absolutely the time for it. But welcome. And Kat, I think just over a year ago is when you came in to Jefferson Barracks, because you did the rod building last year.
I think I started
in the fall.
Summer?
Yeah, kind of summer, fall.
19 or 18? 19?
19.
Yep.
Well, she was in the rod building class last year, so that was February.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it was maybe August or September prior to that I started.
And Chris, I'll call you out because Chris and I are celebrating an anniversary.
Yeah. Yep. Been here
Chris,
for a year.
What anniversary are we celebrating?
Well, I've been with the program for like a year, right?
Yep. A year ago, you came over to my house and we did a casting thing in the yard.
Right. That's right. Taught me got me going on the cast and stuff, and got all the material and stuff from you.
Yeah. And Jody is registered now as an active volunteer, and she's all up to date. So we'll be including Jody in our activities as a volunteer, which is great going into phase 2 and phase 3. And but it was a year ago. We didn't hit any power lines. If anybody, Jim Saraceno knows my yard. You got a duck over the cable lines and everything else, but we didn't hit anything at all.
Nope.
It was a good day. So, well, guys, I think we had kind of talked about fishing, which is always good. But I think we don't really have on an agenda of flies for the next couple of weeks. And I think some folks are traveling. I don't think any of us really have young kids to go do the spring break thing, but what would you like to see over the next couple of weeks in regards to topics or anything else?
I think it'd be cool seeing some of that deer hair spinning, because I just got the packer and then the razor. I think I'm going to start getting into that, making like the the flies with all the deer hair like that. Retrim it up.
Poppers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, we can definitely do that. Anybody else have any requests? And we'll just kind of mix it up. And I think that way it gives everybody, and plus it'll give me a little bit of time to see if we can get some special guest on.
Amy, could we have somebody get in and discuss the different type of threads and
sure.
What they're used for? I mean,
that's a good one, because I often think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as the different break strengths, or there's a lot of different, the waxed. So the funny thing is, I know we're not on gadgets and widgets this week, or what, Carl? What's the word? because I need to write that down. That was such a great word.
Gidgets?
Gidget. Okay.
Gidget.
I had a
So-
dog named Gidget.
Okay, so I ran into
There's an actress named Gidget too.
yeah, some kind of bikini. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I do see.
I thought I was the only one old enough to remember that.
I know. I just totally dated myself on that, didn't I?
You just got antiquated on that. Yes.
I've only heard of it.
Right here.
I've only heard of it. So what was funny is because, John kind of ribbed on me last week as to the fact that I only use white thread, and I don't use white thread. And I turned my camera around, and you can see all 700 back here and the other 20 bobbins that I have right here. But I do use white when I'm typically doing a video because I think that it shows up. But it was funny because you know how you get that OCD thing, and I'll be the first to admit, well, I had this bobbin and I really like it. It was kind of smaller hands, but I do have working hands. But it is something where I like a bobbin that fits in my hand where I can just easily grab kind of the throat on that, and I'm not holding the thread. Well, I pulled out one of my old faves, and I guess I had a GSP wax thread in here. And this thing was so gunked up that you couldn't even breathe through it. And so, by the way, having a tool person in the family, yeah. So these are the little welding. I don't know what the official name is. You guys will know. They're connected to it. See them?
Yeah, it's for cleaning the tips of welding equipment.
Yeah.
I knew you'd know what they are, Jim. Well, yeah, you know who you lined me up on this, right? So yeah. I was able to get in, clean out, and it was wonderful because I soaked it for a day. I was taking a needle to the point where I'm trying to drive a needle through this going, this really is probably not a good idea, because I knew if that went flying, I was impaled. So anyway, these little things, yeah, handy. This one's staying in my collection. But see, John, for you on Wednesday, I have olive on.
Okay, Amy. Hey, I'll tell you what I would like to see if you're talking about, and I'm probably the only one. I would like to know how to collect insects from streams. I know Jim was talking about kicking over rocks, but is there, and I'm not really, I don't really want to get into the entomology side of it as much, but just how to collect them. And then once you got them, how to figure out what they are.
Well, I don't, you guys, there's a lot of people on here that have been fishing longer than I have. So jump in there. Jim, Dave, Terry, well, what do you guys think?
I used to actually carry a couple of glass vials with alcohol, just fill them up with alcohol. And then I had one of those little nets that you use, that people have for fish aquariums, for dipping your goldfish out of there or whatever. And I would use that to pick up the, whatever insects I found under rocks and stuff. Or if I caught a mayfly or a caddisfly or whatever, once I got it, I would put it in one of those tubes, and that pretty much preserves it. And then it kills it and preserves it. And then you can take it home and start identifying it and trying to figure out, what you could tie that looks like that or what have you. But that's what I used to do. I haven't done that for a long time, but when I first started trying to figure out this fly fishing business, I used to do that.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who's in Colorado, down Peterborough. Who's one of the leading guides on the Arkansas, and he used to go collect them. And he turned into quite a student of entomology, and he used to talk all those Latin words, and that's pretty much what he recommended too. So I was just wondering if anybody else had any suggestions. So I guess I'm going to have to go down to the local fish shop and buy myself a fish net, because the Verdigris Creek is one of those creeks where if you hit it right, you can catch 100 fish a day, but if you don't, you're not going to catch anything. So trying to find the right combination of what to use has been a real challenge up there.
You can they make a little I want to call it a seine net that you can stretch over your net, and then you can. I've got one of those on mine. That way you can at least take a look momentarily.
Here you go.
So here's.
Yeah, that's it. I've seen or heard about those. Did you make that, Jim, or did you find it someplace?
No, I found it someplace, and it's the tag on it says Angler's Image. So who knows if they still make them? Yeah. But I'm sure I just got it at the fly shop, or But no, I didn't make it. I purchased it someplace.
Oh, you guys say I just go by to the fly shop. You forget I'm in Nebraska. We don't have fly shops in Nebraska.
Well, I made one similar, John. I just go to a fabric shop or whatever where they did dressmaking, and they can sell real fine meshes and stuff there. Get a small chunk, glue it on a couple pieces of dowel. You're ready to go.
Great idea. Great idea. Thank you, Roger.
I've got a net here that I've had for, I don't know, probably 15 years. I don't remember even where I bought it at, but it's designed to where you can actually put it over the ring of your net. So you can just loop it over. It's got a slip thing on it. And I haven't used it very much. I should use it more than I do sometimes, probably, but I mean, I carry it with me. It's been on more fishing trips than it's been out. But
that looks like a paint strainer. A 5-gallon paint strainer.
Probably could be.
Okay.
I like I said, I don't know where I got it, but you can loop it over the top of your net, and you can just hold on to it and then run it in the stream and like stir up rocks and stuff, and you'll catch a lot of insects with that.
Okay.
Cheesecloth would work good over your net.
Cheesecloth, yeah, okay.
I found a little bit.
You were
the ones over.
You were talking about taking samples of bugs. Probably one of the better things that I know to grab bugs with. If you know anybody, you can get some test tubes. You write down where you're at, and just put your bug in here.
Yeah, I think I got my glass vials from Tom Hargrove. I think I was talking to him, and he had some, and he sold me some of his.
Okay, well, I could probably, I still have friends that I can order my medical stuff through.
I have a brother-in-law who's an anesthesiologist. I might be able to get something from him.
Yeah.
If you start smoking cigars, you can buy cigars in glass tubes.
I've had 3 heart attacks. The last thing I'm going to do is start smoking cigars to get the tubes to keep bugs in.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you buy the cigars and send them to us, you can keep the tubes. How's that?
I like the way Jim thinks.
I was going to say that actually is a good compromise.
I like that idea.
I do too. I like that.
That was the best comment of the year. You just buy the cigars, John. We're good. We'll cover you.
Hey, I've got a question. Roger, what kind of communication connection do you have out there at Wren Lake?
Oh, it's just over the air through the cell phone, but it gathers the signal and then puts it out as a Wi-Fi signal.
So off of your cell phone?
Yeah, it's something on the camper. It has like 3 antennas for cell phone and 3 for Wi-Fi. So if I'm in a weak cell phone or a weak Wi-Fi area, it gathers it and then it acts like my own router. So it keeps it secure and boosts the signal up to keep it good. If you want more, I'll email you the name and stuff.
Okay.
Hey, listen, I got a few resources that I'd like to share. So one of them for fly tying, there's Fly Tyer magazine. You don't have to subscribe to the magazine, but they have a web page on the internet. They also have a Facebook page, and there is just a ton of fly tying information on that. And another great resource is the Missouri Department of Conservation, mdc.mo.gov, and they have fishing prospects. So you can go to it, and they have just a list of many rivers and lakes and stuff like that. And they do an inventory every year, and they give you an idea of, you know, what's in that lake or river, or, you know, if things are getting better, getting worse, or what kind of fish. You can get information. You can look for places to fish. You can just, whatever, search by rivers or lakes or species. You know, you look for information about trout fishing, and it'll break it down into trout parks and blue ribbon waters and red ribbon waters and white ribbon waters, and they go through it, and all those places, again, almost all of them, they have prospects on it. It's just a really great source, and it doesn't matter whether you're looking for trout or bass or muskie or whatever in the state of Missouri. There's just a ton of information there. And then if you want specific information about trout fishing in Missouri, there's a website called the Missouri Trout Hunter. And he goes through probably every public trout area in this state, tells you where they are. A lot of times he has links to maps, gives you an idea of, you know, what kind of fishing to expect there, what kind of conditions and stuff like that. So, I mean, these are three great resources that just have a ton of information that are going to answer a lot of questions, whether you're a beginner or whether you've been fishing for 50 years. So I just thought I'd put that out there.
Hey, Jim, did you see that article in Fly Tyer on the Ozark streams, trout fishing streams?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. With
it's a pretty nice article. There's more of the White River.
Yeah, I met that guy. He used to guide on the North Fork, or North Fork, I guess they call it. But yeah, I've met that guy before. He's really something. He's an incredible fly tyer. He's kind of like Kelly Galloping. He comes up with these, you know, giant patterns with articulated and, you know, the size of a chicken and weigh 5 pounds and stuff. But, you know, honestly, I would never throw them because they're too big. But they sound like they are just dynamite, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty neat guy, and that was a neat article.
I wanted to tie the fly that he had in the article, the articulated fly that he had in there, but I haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
and
like project.
I think with a couple of the different things too. So Fly Tyer every year, they actually, when you get ready to renew your subscription, you're able to gift a subscription free of charge to someone else. And so we actually have a couple folks who receive that each year as a gift, because as you're renewing and you see that little postcard in there, you can give it to someone else, which is really cool. And it's a great magazine. MDC, gosh, you can't get me to say anything bad about. They're getting so up to date right now with a lot of their different apps and everything. But yeah, Missouri Trout Hunter, it's, if you can't find it there, you can't find it. It's an amazing site too. Fly Fusion, there's some great magazines as well. But we have so many things available to us that it's absolutely just amazing, just for our resources. And in case you guys saw me obsessed with this, and then the one that I dropped on the floor, just in case you never need to take Landon Mayor's class, I did. He's the one with the ants and different things. And then there's a micro tube. And so this is like the skinniest, well, this wouldn't even be an IV tube. It's the skinniest tube. And you actually take your ultra wire and you go through the tube. And what it does is it makes that ribbing. And I'll show you real quick. And then it's probably dinner time for everybody. But it actually gives you that ribbing as opposed to buying the D-rib to put on. So let me switch over to this, because when the instructor of the class says, you know, well, if your hands are shaky or anything else, you might not want to try this. So you're going in as micro as you can go. Can you guys see this even? Oh, not anymore. Oh. Hang on.
No.
No. So can you see that with the?
Yeah, we can see it. It's fine.
Yeah. This is a size 18. But what you're doing is, so this tube is like a clear IV tube. Again, it's a super, let's see, it's called stretch tubing. And then you take your ultra wire and you're feeding it in here through this. And yeah. I was being greedy because I had about 4 inches and I dropped it on the floor and I still can't find it yet. And so I was starting another one. But if that's why during this video, because I was listening and I was watching, but I'm trying to feed this wire through this tube. Yeah, it's a dexterity challenge, because if you know ultra wire, it wants to go every direction, so opposite of where you want it to. One more time, Walt.
Are you using that to guide a ramp?
No, I'm going in on the back part. So see where that is, as opposed to like a D ring. Here, let me pull the by its back. Everything else. But see where more on kind of that nymph style, where like the D wrap, the vinyl rib, sometimes it has a mind of its own and it doesn't lay necessarily as flat.
Right.
And so when you're rubbing that in, it won't, it tends to bunch up on the back end, or it's kind of harder to tie in up at the front, and it wants to pop off. No matter how many times you cinch it down, but it's a D, so like a D ring. It has a flat section and then it has a curved, and so it creates that ribbing. Well, this is the same thing. It's just tube. You just add in the color wire that you want. And it's been a while. I've done these with purple on the inside, and I like them because they're so, you can see like going over the top of that, it just really gives you that segment.
Okay, okay, I understand.
But that's what I was doing while you guys were on here.
Is that something that you buy at the fly shop, or do you order it? Or
no, the micro tubing comes in a packet like this.
Oh, okay.
You see it okay?
Yeah, like red and green.
You use your ultra wire and then thread through this, but the tubing is hollow.
Right.
And then you feed your wire through it.
Online?
This one I got at Hargrove's, and it was $3.40. It's on the back wall in the very back corner.
Was that when Craig sold it to you, or when Tom sold it to you?
No, if Craig would have sold it to me, it would be $130.40. I'm just giving him a hard time. He's just great. He's just great. He builds a lot of confidence in what you buy. And again, you know, you can't substitute practice for anything, but he's like, no, this will really, and he's just good about it. Tom just tells you you'll suck until you buy it.
You just got to tell them what you're looking for. You go in there and say, look, I'm looking for something in the economy line.
And then he does one of these, right? Oh wait, you can't, I got to switch cameras back. And then he does one of these. Well, yeah. Yep. I guess if that's what you want to do. and then you sit there going, well, so wait, this $50 hackle isn't a good hackle? he goes, guess if you like that color. You walk out kind of going, yeah, I actually like that color. So he challenges you, but all in good. Those guys are so smart. And again, that just the personalities, we are so fortunate. But yeah, Tom will just get that. Yeah. Well,
Amy,
you know,
do you ever try some sort of lubricant on that wire before you put it in, like WD-40?
No, chapstick.
Chapstick? Okay.
Straight up chapstick, because you can't pull it through. So like how you would thread your bobbin, you can't suck it through. But if you just do chapstick, kind of run it through and then guide. And the thing of it is, you can't get fat fingered on it. You actually have to hold both loose and try to guide it through. It is, I really like the effect of it, but it's kind of one of those things you make a bunch of them and then you set them aside and then you have them ready. Because if you're, you know, one day with too much coffee, yeah, it's not going to be good. You're just going to, because every time you try to push the wire, it crimps and it makes that J. And then you can't straighten it out, and it's not. But that's honestly, I'll be looking around for this for another hour and a half on the floor. The other thing is, if you actually drop things on your floor, pull out your UV light, because it actually, if you kind of go on that horizontal, it'll pick up some weird lighting. And you guys know my trash pit down here underneath. So I can often find things, but I haven't located this yet. And I had about 6 inches of it gone. Anyway, all right, all. Well, it was a great week. And again, happy Kat and Chris. Glad to have you guys here. It's been a great year. Sorry for the uncertainty of it, but I'm glad you guys are around still. And
well, I ain't going anywhere. I love fishing.
Yep. Well, we're gonna get you guys. We're gonna get going now. And Mick, of course, thank you always for putting this together. You and Margie.
It's not Mick, it's Margie.
It's Mick and Margie. And Margie is now officially registered as a volunteer too. So she just put in the past year unrecognized, but she is now official and all up to date and in our system.
Awesome.
Hey, Amy.
Yes, sir.
You're going to tell us about your UV light.
Oh, yep. So it's called the Lumen Shooter. And it comes with, and this was one of the things, because you guys know I like Bondec. I'll switch over on my camera here so you guys can see it. So I like Bondec. It comes in this little cool case. It's on Amazon. Comes with this little, it's very easy to hold. Has a UV light, so you just turn it on with this little switch, and then your UV glue is back here. And so then you just screw that on. The one thing is, it's kind of touch sensitive. So it's kind of like the super glue issue, is that if you squeeze on this, it's shooting all over the place. So you want to just pretty much kind of just hit it.
Sorry.
And then with this too, it's okay. I mean, as far as like your light quality and everything, and you can kind of see, I think. So the UV's hitting that. It has a purple light if I flashed it that way. You
can see it.
So it's okay, and it'll harden up. But one of the things I found is that I was waiting on the light to harden this longer than I wanted to wait. And so this whole kit comes together. So it's got an extra UV on top and Lumen Shooter.
Yeah,
it comes with a rechargeable battery. And my battery just goes into USB.
So that's $24.99 looks like.
Yep. And it is mega good. Okay. And usually, again, when you're putting on UV, I cup everything in because I don't need those, you know, but it's solid hard. Doesn't take but a second. This was one of my best purchases because, again, having a rechargeable.
Yeah.
And I just put the battery in here and charge it. Same adapter you'd use for your phone. And it tells you when it's actually charged up. And then the second one too, it's a different kind of it's more of a purplish on that. So I'm sure it has something. I've never even used this top part, but it's a second fold at least. So use your Amazon Smile, and there's the battery. Now, I don't know what to do once the light bulb goes out, but I'm still probably a little bit away from that. Don't drop them.
Yeah. And Amy, one thing you get over there, I don't know if everybody realizes it, but if instead of just going to Amazon.com, if you go to smile.amazon.com,
Right.
Yep.
It allows you to designate a portion of every purchase to a charity, and you can designate Project Healing Water. So every time you buy something on Amazon, a little bit goes towards Healing Waters.
That's really cool. I didn't know that. My wife's an Amazon professional.
It's called, Smile. It is, and I have an embarrassing amount because that's almost how I do all my shopping now. But it is well worth it, and you can pick your charity, which is great. They just receive a check each month from all the purchases done, and so thanks for the reminder on that, Roger.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know about that.
So it's Amazon.
Smile.amazon.com.
And it covers
the same logins, if you're part of Prime or whatever. It's just when you log in at smileamazon.com, then it knows that you want to donate to charity. And it'll remind you even after that, if you forget and you log on to the regular one, it frequently come up with a little pop-up that says, you sure you don't want to use, smile.amazon?
That's cool.
Yep. And it absolutely, Prime covers it and everything, so you don't lose. It's not like a whole new membership, so nice. Your Prime is covered on that too.
I'm looking on it right now, and it says as of February 2021, people have donated to Project Healing Waters Fly Fishing $15,537.98.
That's cool.
Yep. And I know Carl, usually he sends me an update when he gets his thing too. I know I've donated 246 times since I joined in 2017, which I don't know that anyone else needs to know that, except that it is something where a little bit, every penny adds up, and it's free money. Kind of. All right, all, time for dinner, and so we'll gather again next week. We want to talk about threads, and we want to talk about deer poppers.
All righty.
We'll kind of come up with a few more ideas.
Go fire up the barbecue and enjoy the scenery.
That looks good, Roger. Have fun.
Look at that. Look at Roger.
I'm out of here like a fat kid in dodgeball.
Look at
Very nice, Roger. Enjoy.
Yes.
All right.
Take care.
Good to see you guys.
Bye-bye.
See you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Vic, look at this. Trout fishing.
Yep.
Can you see this?
Oh, it's beer?
Yes, sir.
Very cool.
I picked them up so you can cut it out and you have a metal or 3 cans and you have one fish about yay big,
That's cool. That'd be neat.
If you guys want to come out to my place, I should have it cleaned up by this week, okay?
Yeah, maybe we'll try to, if you want to throw out a date, just say, hey, I'm going to, if you actually throw out a date, that might help. I know April 17th is a Saturday, and Bennett is having their Veterans Day, so I'll be out there for that.
I have to go to Florida.
Oh, that's right.
Around the 11th, and I'll be back on the 16th.
Okay.
So I have to take my sister down there.
Yeah. So just call out a date, you know, and then if you actually set up a date, then you probably have people being okay with that.
Okay. All right. You have a good evening.
You too. You take care, Walt. We'll talk to you next week.